Hey everyone, welcome to Comic Book Curation Live. I am Polydub, still getting over the residuals of a cold. Hopefully it'll go better than it did last week. And I am joined, as always, by Inquisitor 8.1. Say hi, Quiz.
Hi, Quiz.
And, of course, Jack from Bad Comic Reviews. How you doing, Jack?
Good. Hi.
So, a million things up on my screen all at one time, trying to get it organized. And Farzuzmi's in here heckling us already. That's good to see. Good to see. So, guys, any new comics today? Did you pick anything else? Anything up?
I did pick up some stuff. I picked up The Raid, issue 2, Vampirella versus Deja Thoris, Silencer. I picked up Stranger Things, Venom First Host, Flash, Doomsday Clock, and what was the other one? Oh, Star Trek versus Transformers.
Right.
Man, I haven't picked up comics in a long time. I really need to go and do that, but I'm afraid of the cost. I think I'm backlogged to June for my pull list.
Jesus, they probably gave up on you by now. They think you're dead.
Nah. My comic shop guy knows that because like the comic shop I've got my pull list on is like an hour away, and he knows I don't live in town, so he's perfectly fine with holding it for me. Because whenever I go there, I spend like over $200. So
I picked up. I went by my comic shop day for yesterday, and I didn't grab anything from my pull list because I've cut it down. So it's like, and he knows I only come by every so often. I just ended up picking up bound editions, old editions, used stuff. I picked up The Shadow, 1941, Hitler's Astrologer.
Ooh, it was collected.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
It was a one-shot prestige edition.
Cool.
Yeah.
I say, I'm still in the
classic
process
mystery story.
I'm still in the process of trying to find all of the 70s Shadow books. I've got most of them, but I'm just trying to find the the individual rags.
Well, we will. I've got a few pulps actually. I'd love to collect more of them. They're so huge compared to a modern comic, like just in size.
Yeah, the pulp magazines.
Yeah.
I remember I got a giant-sized X-Men that way. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's like the first printings of the various TMNTs I have from back in the day when Eastman and Laird actually wrote and did the art. They're oversized. It's weird. They must have been going to a regular publisher to get that done. So I'm curious, Jack, all those items you listed off, were they all on your pull list, or do you just walk around with a pocket full of money burning a hole?
Well, that's a complicated answer because I have two pull lists. I have one at this shop and one at the other shop. I haven't gone to that shop yet, but yes, about half of these were on my pull list, and some were just random purchases.
Well, fair enough.
Stranger Things was terrible. Don't buy it.
Is that like the actual adaptation of the show?
No, it might as well be that lazy. But no, it's part of a 4-part series, and I guess they're going to focus on what Will did while he was in the Upside Down. But a lot of it is just him wandering around in the woods, and it's pretty boring.
It sounds boring.
Yeah, it was painful, man. It was painful. Yeah, see, I still got like a dozen titles waiting for me at the other shop. I got to go get Batman Kings of Fear, Heroes in Crisis, Bubba Hotep, Rick and Morty D&D, Transformers Unicron, Archie meets Batman 66, Catwoman, Detective, Aliens, Elvira, bunch of alternative stuff.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot. Elvira tweeted out that her comic was coming out today.
Yeah,
I need to check those out. No,
issue 1 was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, not only did I see your review on it, but like I also just love Elvira. So it's like, you know, when I saw that review, I'm like, oh man, I hope it's good. And then you're like, yeah, it's really good. I recommend it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm sold.
Yeah, man, I highly recommend it. I thought it was fun.
Shady was acting weird on Discord, and he's acting weird here. I don't know. Maybe his meds haven't kicked in yet today.
Or that, or he's fusing with the symbiote himself. Yeah.
Well, yes.
Maybe fell asleep on the keyboard.
Speaking of aliens, do you guys have any interest in going and seeing Predator?
Yes.
No.
Okay. I think that calls for an explanation.
Despite what everyone says, I really like Predator. Sorry. I think also I'm in the vast minority too. I think Predator 2 is a better movie than Predator 1.
Well, that says a lot about your movie taste.
It does. It really, really does.
What? Yeah, you think that Arnold has the same acting chops as someone like Bill Paxton?
All right, no fault to the Bill Paxton Collective, but he's like the Borg. He's the same character in every movie.
And he's awesome in every movie.
Yeah, but that doesn't save the movie. He's been in tons of shitty movies.
I've got to say, man, Predator 2 has more influence when it comes to the perpetuation of the Predator mythos. It's a better written story. It has better characters. I mean, did you really...
Wait a minute. That's the movie with the Jamaican voodoo posse, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, are you kidding me?
Every single character in that mattered, and you liked them. I can't remember a single character other than Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, which was named, what? Priest? Something like that? I don't remember. I don't even remember it. Like, none of the characters Dutch, that's it. None of the characters there mattered, and you didn't get to know any of them before.
What are you talking about? Mac was... Well, that's... No, the story was not supposed to be an explanation of their childhoods. What are you supposed to know about, like, Maria Conchica Alonso and their buddy and old man policeman running around the city there, Mel Gibson's partner? What's his name?
I, for one, was incredibly concerned about that poor Vietnamese girl. I was really worried she was not going to make it to the chopper.
Of course you were.
And that may be the movie where I discovered my love of the Asians. I don't know.
No, Peter's right here. He's like Billy, Poncho, Dylan, Mac. Yeah, exactly. Like Mac was like the hardcore guy who was really good friends with.
I suspect Peter has all of the characters pulled up on Wikipedia or something.
No, he's a man
Blaine.
who memorized them. Because this is, first of all, Carl Weathers. Come on.
I know, right?
That guy's awesome.
Yeah, he really. Yeah.
Second of all, it was like a G.I. Joe movie gone wrong, because it's all these big, burly, crazy-looking guys, and they're actually afraid, and you could feel the tension and fear on them.
No, you got
there's a moment in Predator 2 where King Louis is in a fucking alley throwing chicken bones on a garbage can, predicting the future. Are you fucking kidding me?
He wasn't predicting the future. He was telling him about the stuff that's actually going on. There was no mysticism involved there.
He was reading chicken bones.
He was doing that to fuck with him.
Which, I'm sorry,
cutting people's hearts out.
That was an incredibly problematic scene, because there's a black man throwing chicken bones down and, quote, reading them. Come on. I think we know what's implied there.
Yeah, King Willie, yeah. But all I gotta say about about Predator, it would be awesome if it were like all these big old tough guys getting all fucked because they think that they're being stalked and they're afraid. If they got a chance to be afraid and weren't killed off in like the first 15 minutes of the movie.
Well, that's the whole, it wasn't in the first 15. The first death does not come for a while. And the whole point is that something that they don't know kills one of them out of nowhere, and they still don't know what did it. The whole point is the mystery that they're the hunted ones.
They keep on going business as usual until there's only like, I think 4 of them left when they start devising a plan to fight back.
We're not saying that Predator 2 is a terrible movie. We're just saying it's not as good as the original.
I disagree.
It's got, what's his name? Is in a totally miscast role. The guy with the Clydesdale teeth there. What's his name?
What?
The guy with the teeth that are the size of his head. He was in Point Break. What's his name?
Oh, shit. Steve Buscemi. No, not Steve Buscemi.
You just picked someone with bad teeth. That
was your go-to.
Oh fuck! What's his name? Oh god.
Can we at least agree that both Predator and
Gary Busey, yeah.
Gary Busey. You got him mixed up with Steve Buscemi? Come on, dude.
Well, they both
That's
have, like,
mean.
They both
Steve
have weird
Buscemi
faces.
is not that crazy.
Oh, no. Steve Buscemi is great, but, Gary Busey and Steve Buscemi have really weird faces.
Well, it's, who's actually like
Fair
really
enough.
weird and creepy, like even more so than Busey is Busey's relative. He was in I see my thinking is not very clear today. I'm still medicated. What's the Starship Troopers? Yeah.
That's his son.
That's his son. Well, his son is like a creepy little version of him. It's weird.
Yeah.
Wait,
and he also has Clydesdale teeth.
Who? Starship Troopers is related to Gary Busey?
Busey
son.
Jr.
The main character?
No, the blonde guy that's a real jackass.
It's been a long time since I've seen that.
Well, you should go watch it again as Michael Ironside. And any film with
course.
Michael Ironside is automatic quality. That's
Oh,
just,
yeah.
Yeah.
that's just-
Even-
there's something we can agree on.
I'm gonna say this, Polly, and here's another controversial opinion. Even Highlander 2.
Is better than Highlander 1?
No, I'm just saying it's a good movie.
Oh, no. I'm losing respect for you by this second, man.
What, dude? It has Michael Ironside as the bad guy.
Yeah, Jake Busey played Ace Levy.
Oh, is
That
that
was
the
his
guy
name in Starship Troopers? Ace Levy?
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that the guy that got his brain sucked out by the brainworm?
Probably.
No.
I don't know.
No, that was Low Rent Rob Lowe. I can't remember his name. Yeah, when you can't hire Rob Lowe, you hire that guy. And he was the one that was hitting on Christmas Jones. What's her name?
Oh, Patrick Muldoon was the guy you're thinking of. I think.
Patrick Muldoon. That's his name. That sounds like a local lowdown bar owner. Patrick Muldoon, the guy who owns the Pig and Pork down on 34th. Like it's
Well, hang on. You got to see this guy. He looks like a bar owner. Look at that. Look at that picture.
Oh, yeah.
He looks like he's kind of skeevy. Like,
yeah, there you go.
hey,
See,
That's
what I said.
Poker in
That's
the front,
that's-
poker
that's-
in the back.
Like I said, look at that guy. Tell me that's not low rent Rob Lowe.
yeah, Rob Lowe's a better actor.
According to Pop Tart, Willow says hello to the man we know, which I'm assuming is you, Jack. So you've been said hello to by
Hello.
Pop Tart's daughter.
I see no love for us, Polly. I get it.
Well, what? I'm just communicating.
Well, I'm pretty awesome. Just ask me.
And
Don't
according
ask
to-
people that know me.
According to Willow, you sound like a milkshake.
Well, I do bring all the boys to the yard.
Gross. What are you trying to say? You're chased
You
by
know-
gay men?
All I
We
gotta
play
say-
basketball. Duh.
It took me a really long time to get the euphemism of that song.
Really?
Yeah. I'm ashamed
Well,
about
he
how
does
long
like
it took.
Highlander too, so
I'm saying, man, my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. It took me so long to figure out that she was talking about her tits. It took me ashamedly too long.
Wow. Chaos Eve is here, and she's like, "Yeah, so you're medicated and you're in a pissy mood," which I am. I'll admit, it's been a rough couple of days, just with stupid little inconsequential things that have brought me down. So I go off on people about stupid stuff. Well,
It's okay.
I think Chaos is hinting that an apology should be forthcoming.
Well, it's fine. You're all crunk on scissor. You're fine.
I will not listen. I didn't tell them
That
to put
was-
codeine in it. They put
that was
codeine in
the-
it, and I was happy to just be okay with that.
Yeah.
All right.
when you say scissor, it's the whitest thing I've ever heard.
You should hear Polly say it because I keep on saying that he's black.
I don't say scissor. That's some fucking. It's lean. It's lean.
Oh, lean. That's it. Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway.
sorry.
Sorry.
Lost my Urban Dictionary.
Well, I was talking
Anyway.
about the guy we were talking about.
Yes, I will go. I do want to see Predator because I liked Predators. I thought that was a good movie too.
That was all right.
Predators was all right. Yeah.
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 So
Predator versus Alien, though, way inferior movie.
You didn't like the slide of friendship?
No, and I didn't like when they were running down the tunnel, and you can see the Predator's feet flopping because they're shoes, like clown shoes.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, there's a scene in AVP where, they jump down this tunnel because they're in Antarctica, and there's a long bored out tunnel down to the lower level where they're at. And at one point, his human friend and the Predator jump together and they slide. It was a really corny, goofy moment in the movie, and people end up calling it the slide of friendship because they were friends and buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he ate her.
There's is that eating or is that technically then scissoring because predators have a vagina face? Anyway,
there are male and female predators.
They are a sexually dimorphic species. Yes.
Someone's been watching Sargon's video. Did you watch Sargon's video about that?
Yes, I did.
There wasn't it like, wow, this is where you went with that. All right then. Like, like I thought I got nerdy. Wow, Sargon took it to a new level. For those of you who haven't seen it, they have male and female, so they're a dimorphic species, and clearly they've reached a point of Marx's theoretical end goal of communism, which is the workless society, because everything has become automated. So therefore they resort, I guess basically would be the way to say it, to primitive rituals that still bring them some sort of purpose and enjoyment. In the case of the predators, hunting, which is why they're willing to fly all over the galaxy to hunt people, because they have nothing. They don't have to work for food. They don't have to work to build buildings because everything in their society is automated. And that video was what, Quiz? Like 25 minutes long?
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn, Sargon. What's
he needs to get a hobby.
Predators have reached the communist utopia and have thus regressed down to tribalistic societies because they have nothing better to do. Yeah.
Now, do they have to hold the conch in order to speak?
Well, they do have a thing on their back called the healing horn, which contains all of like the stimulants and blood clotting and all other kinds of stuff. It's what they use in Predator 2 to staunch the blood from his severed hand when Danny Glover cuts it off with the disc.
Actually, his med kit was foreseen in Predator 1.
I don't remember seeing medkit in Predator 1, but that's
he opens it up when he's sitting up in the tree after he gets shot in the leg by Mac, and his green glowy blood's flowing out everywhere, and he puts this little metal thing in it, and he gets out this little hypo syringe deal with a tube running off of it. Yeah, it's a whole kit that slides out of his armor.
Yeah.
Now, I think I know why they're hunting humans. Is they're mad that we're milking their blood to make glow sticks.
Right. That's what kills me about that scene, and Pete will know what I'm talking about because he's a big fan of Predator. Mac runs along and he sees the glowy eyes of the Predator, and the rest of him is still camouflaged. He takes a shot with his own gun and strafes his leg, just barely nicks him, and then they all empty like a good 4,000 or 5,000 rounds into the jungle and hit nothing. And it's like supposed to be like one of the big manly moments of the movie, of the four guys just letting off with every firearm and grenade launcher that they have. And it was actually one of the first shots that Mac fired errantly from his hip, and that was the only thing that managed to just nick the Predator.
See, it's a statement about deforestation.
Yeah, they created their own clearing. It's true.
Yeah, and man's influence on the jungle, and the jungle responds by summoning aliens to kill them. See, it's a tale as old as time.
God damn it! Eve says that Ethan Van Sciver's streaming right now. What is it with that guy hating on us?
He's jealous,
right?
Have you seen us? We're sexier than he is.
I got $630,000 through the largest indie-funded comic of all time.
He's just jealous because I have pie.
Yeah.
I picked up 7 subscribers this week. He's just jealous of that.
Yeah. See, Jack's got 7 subscribers. Quiz has pie, and I've got a sultry, resonant voice, and Ethan's jealous, man. That's what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not just making shit up. That's
nope.
So we have articles here that I wanted to cover while we've been aimlessly rambling for like 20 minutes.
We've been talking about Predator.
It's related to comic books. There's Predator comics.
Oh yeah,
it makes sense.
And those are really good comics too. I have several of them.
Mustafa offered to play guitar while I sing to Eve.
Yeah, you're supposed to apologize. She accepts singing, apparently.
Well,
she will accept. I see.
She had that real sucker moment for when Michael Rollins was playing the guitar while Angel was singing at MythCon. She'll eat that up, man.
See, okay, for the no, I'm not talking about those on my channel. Forget about it. I'm not going to do it.
Too late. I already talked about them.
Well, you can talk about it all you want. I'll cut it the fuck off, and we'll move on to something of substance. This guys, like everyone listening to within the sound of my voice, YouTubers who talk about each other almost exclusively are not talking about anything. Like this is the definition of a self-licking ice cream cone. Like
I've got a gif of that somewhere.
Actually, I want that. If you find it, let me know. That's a saying. A lot of institutional theory. Something created to sustain itself as the self-licking ice cream cone. I love that saying.
There's a lot of channels based around just talking about their Twitter feeds. I mean, all the Comicsgate guys have done it.
Eve is very popular on Twitter right now, you know. So is that like meant to make me feel jelly? Or was that Eve suggesting that she will send out the link to this stream so everyone can watch it that might be interested?
Well, you know, that would be nice, Eve.
It would be very nice. So, and Eve said something and then retracted it. Well, that's just.
It was probably just a middle finger, so don't worry about it.
Should I time Eve out? No.
No.
Well, no. The only reason I say is because I hit the little 3 dot button because it's like, can I like force look at messages that are retracted because I'm the owner of the channel or whatever? But no, I can't. That sucks. So articles. Let's talk about. Where should we start?
Here we go.
Oh no, I already know about that. Let's talk about the danger that Shatterstar and Richter's relationship is in.
Don't care. It's fictional.
Next. With the launch of Shatterstar's upcoming solo series next week, things aren't looking good for fans of the relationship between the titular Shatterstar and former X-Force and X-Factor teammate Richter. When we last saw these two together in New Mutants Dead Souls, all seemed well. Would you like to see what it seemed well like for these two?
Sure.
Is this going to be something
that's horrifying? Look at that. That is absolutely horrifying. I thought it was going to be cute. That's nightmarish.
It's a self-licking ice cream.
That looks abundantly sexual.
Oh, wow.
You ask and ye shall receive.
Oh, that looks. Oh, is that how the Kavanaugh hearing went?
Here is the. There's how things were left off between Shatterstar and Richter. Shatterstar's back there with no clothes on, but having an apron because they're gay. They're gay.
Yeah, we got it.
Naked apron only works for women.
Well,
if you want to burn your penis off,
yeah. I don't know what you're up to, but when I find out, and tell Shatterstar to put some clothes on. No. It's because if you didn't know, they're gay. Because they're gay. This whole article, guys, is just, this is at Bleeding Cool, because of course it is. It's just bad news for Shatterstar and Richter's relationship. Like, what I ask you to, well, you won't do it anyway. Trust me. I go through Bleeding Cool a lot. They didn't care about anyone's relationship. Like, it would be like, what's up with Scott Summers and Jean Grey? Oh no, or is there love on the rocks? They don't ever talk about that stuff. So why are you talking about these two? And there is no that they're actually in a bad relationship. It's just it's not this eating breakfast together in the nude thing. So there might be trouble ahead. So why are they talking about it? Because they're gay. That's why. Like this, is this supposed to be? I don't know. Is it of interest simply because they're gay? I would argue not. Like, when does something become not scintillating and whatever just because a couple's gay? Being gay is like, okay, so you're gay, big, good. Like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, see, this is what happens when you have a bunch of Gen Xers writing stuff, because this was like edgy back in the 90s to be like, oh my gosh, gay people.
That's the word I was looking for and couldn't find it. Like, is this supposed to be edgy and sensational simply because they're gay? Well, I guess it is, and maybe that is because it's Gen Xers. I don't know.
It's a bunch of people in their 40s that don't know that everybody else has moved on because they have no social skills and no friends, and their cats didn't update them. And this is what you get. Being gay is now seen as like your entire personality. It's not just an aspect of who you are. It's your entire thing. Look at Iceman. It's doing the same thing. Everybody acts like they're the guy from Will and Grace. What's his name? The really flamboyant guy.
Oh, yeah, I know who you mean. I don't know his name, though.
Don't look at me.
We are looking at you. That's why we fell silent. We're waiting to hear from you.
I don't know anything about Will and Grace. I'm sorry.
You didn't miss anything. It's terrible.
Okay.
Peter's like, it's all about POCs and trannies now. No one cares about the photo. Yeah, I hear you.
Well, bundles of
Censor
sticks
yourself?
are important. Boy Scouts enjoy bundles of sticks.
Don't you censor yourself.
Well, you know what? You come on my channel and say all kinds of shit. Notice it never happens.
No one cares about the fags. There you go.
And Eve is having some kind of problem. It would be, but I'm feeling sassy tonight. So, you don't read what I say, frowny face. Like, well, what the fuck is going on? What did I miss? Anyway, let's see.
I have an article that irritated me today.
Shoot.
Why the MCU needs to deal with its whitewashing problem.
Oh, right, because that's the fucking MCU's problem, right?
Yes. Oh, just you wait.
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
No, and you know who the article's about? If you had to guess what characters they would be referring to, who would you guess?
Who has been whitewashed in the MCU? Oh, well, the Ancient One and Doctor Strange.
Nope, that's the obvious one.
I'm just trying to think of any character that is not in continuity white, but has been made white in the MCU.
See, I thought they were talking about the Mandarin and the Ancient
One.
the
Mandarin, right? Sure, the Mandarin, yeah.
But that wasn't the real Mandarin, apparently.
Spider-Man. Because they really want Miles Morales.
Well, there's that. But no, this article strictly focuses on, get this. You ready? You ready? Yeah, the Maximovs.
What? But
Yep.
they're white.
They're not white. They're European. Wait.
What?
They're Romani. They're half Romani. That's what the complaint is. Seriously, that's what their argument was. That they should be brown.
So anyone from Romania is brown? I think V would have a problem with that.
No, they're gypsies. Romani, not Romanian. Romani are descended from India mostly. Or Turkish, I guess, maybe.
I was gonna say, I think they're Turkish, but yeah.
Something, I don't know. They're light brown. Who cares?
But they're not light brown in the fucking comic book.
Yeah, they were stealing children for generations. What makes you think a couple of them did grow up?
On that basis, Dr. Doom should be not white.
Well, he's Eastern European, so
But he's a gypsy.
Yeah. So yeah, they seem to not understand there are white gypsies.
Well, he's always in the suit, so who would know?
Yeah, but you could see little bits around his eye sockets are little rectangles, right? That are usually like wide open, so you could see some skin, and god damn it, that should be colored. It should be POC'd. It should be POC'd.
It should be colored. He's a colored man.
Yeah.
I threw the link in the side chat there. It's an infuriating article.
Well, it's from the Mary Sue.
Oh god, it's from the Mary Sue. Jesus Christ, Jack.
So you know it's garbage.
I love Mustafa's comment. Who cares? Right. Yeah. It's just because it's the only answer I can offer. I mean, I hear you, Mustafa, for sure. But it's like, so why are they even writing about this? Because the Mary Sue has to write about something. They're literally in the business of enragement,
Of
like of
outrage.
being outraged at stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
They're
what they do.
like that whiny, complainy chick that you dumped like 2 weeks in, and she still talks about it 20 years later.
What
Yeah.
was the image that I wanted?
Well, what's ironic is they don't really talk about the blackwashing of characters. Where
No, that's diversification. God,
Yeah.
racist. Oh,
yeah, that'll happen.
So fucking racist.
So many of these words just don't mean anything anymore.
no, yeah. Let's not get too deep.
I gotta diversify my portfolio. I need a black man to start doing my stock brokering.
Brokerage. Okay, let's talk about something that's really cool, and then somebody at Bleeding Cool managed to make it uncool. Go figure.
There's a shock.
I know. So, give me a quick second here. My computer's fighting me, and so is my mind. So Moon Knight number 200 is coming out, right?
Is it written by Max Bemis?
No.
Good.
And there's a super sweet variant cover by David Finch, who's an awesome artist. Oops. And I want to show you guys the cover because, like I said, it's something cool that then Bleeding Cool manages to make uncool. Look at that shit.
Ooh, that is cool.
And the reason why I like it so much is that, you got Khonshu in the background, right? Kind of like overlooking him, this sort of like haunting godlike figure and so on. And then, Moon Knight's looking awesome there as usual. So that's pretty sweet. But it unfortunately comes from this article, an extra special David Finch variant for Moon Knight number 200.
And by the way, yes, Max Bemis is writing that issue. So anything and everything about that issue can go fuck itself.
Well,
I don't care how cool the cover is.
Oh yeah, there it is, Max Bemis. Well, Lemire
that guy needs to die in a fire. Yeah, I said it.
Lemire and Sienkiewicz also do variant covers for it. They do some of the art. It's and Sienkiewicz, in my opinion, is a bigger problem for Comicsgate than Bemis is. But
Jeff Lemire a writer?
Got me. Like for this issue, I do not know.
Max Bemis has on his Twitter that issue 200 is going to be his last on Moon Knight.
Oh, good. Well, there's something to celebrate.
So the just looking for.
Yeah, I don't know
the art. No, Jeff Lemire's listed as the artist, not only on this but on something else. So.
Wow. Well, he was the one writing the Terrifics, which is why I dropped it, because he's an ass.
Oh, as a quick little side note, did you know Fantastic Four just entered into its third printing? Fantastic Four number 1.
Well, when you only sell 10,000,
Well, I just thought it was odd because it's not good.
No, that issue was terrible.
How are they in their third printing for it? Did they underprint it to begin with? I don't understand.
Probably.
Sell quite well, but Jesus. In any case, they said something here got me thinking. With colors by Frank D'Armata, Finch returns to Marvel to bring his memorable talent to one of Marvel's grittiest and most unique characters. And this person says, and by one of most unique characters, of course, they mean Batman in a white suit. You know what? We're starting to get the hang of this whole press release thing. Like this author this journalist is so bitter. He starts it off by saying, a Moon Knight David Finch that looks exactly like dozens of other covers by David Finch, except this time it's Moon Knight doing the dramatic crouching.
Yeah, I mean, David Finch is a great artist. I mean, look at those pictures. That Batman one, that's the cover from Time in the Batman. That was an awesome cover. That Wolverine one's awesome.
Like, look at that. That's so sweet.
Yeah, look, that's a cool cover.
And I think he's kind of missing the idea where it's like, okay, why are you letting your boredom with comic books spill over into your journal? Like, go write about something else then if you hate the genre.
He doesn't hate the genre. He just hates that people like things. Like,
Stop liking what I don't like.
Oh my God, you're not allowed to like anything that I don't like. Oh, you're happy that this guy's got talent? Oh, what? You know, you were a bigot against untalented people.
What it brought to mind is this idea where, you know, people have said this, where it's like basically Moon Knight is Marvel's Batman. And okay, here's my assertion on that. Why? Because he's in an urban environment with a cape, wearing a mask, and is not particularly super powered. I mean, technically Moon Knight is super powered, but you know, he's got more like, you know, awesome physical abilities and swings by like grappling lines. So therefore, yeah, I guess in that sense is kind of like Batman. But if that's true and you accept that, then that means they're really both like the Shadow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the glaringly obvious part is a certain color of his uniform.
That it's white?
Yep. You said it. Not me.
Well,
hold on, you lost me. What are you trying to say?
It's the color of evil.
It's the color of evil.
Okay. The Asians saw it as the color of death. Like, obviously, everybody else should too.
Somebody else brought it. Like, I think that if I was asked to write for a series, like or at least do the plotting of a comic book, because unlike some people who write comic books today, I have respect for how hard it is to write a good comic. You know, even people that have been doing it for years and years have somehow managed to convince themselves that their lackluster, vomited out writing is somehow good. Kill Simone. Excuse me. I would love to write Moon Knight because I think there's a lot going on with the character. I was actually thinking about this earlier on when I was getting together all the tabs and shit for tonight's stream, that somebody had said in a stream, I thought it was Razor Fist, but I don't think so, that the problem with Moon Knight is that there's too much going on. The story needs to be pared down and simplified. Like Mark Spector, he's crazy. He's not crazy. He's bipolar. No, he's not. The whole thing with Khonshu, the god, giving him his powers. No, or giving him the mantle of Moon Knight is actually a fantasy in his bipolar mind, and it is real. It's not real. And then he's got this other personality that he rolls around with in the white suit, not the white Superman's or superhero suit here. And it's all so much, and it's like, I think you guys need to pare it down and make the complexity in terms of the stories he gets into, not the complexity of himself. If that makes sense.
Started that crap in the 90s. That's where it really went off the rails. Because, like, if you go back to the old stuff from when he was fighting supernatural stuff, then it was a lot more straightforward, which was when it was better, when Doug Moench did it.
Oh, right. Fuck, there's a name I haven't heard in a good while. Yeah, but no, so it's like, I think the character has a lot of possibilities. It's like, oh, well, it's obviously just like Batman. Or not, because, you know, it could be written differently where he's not just like Batman. Like, yeah, okay, he's a big muscular guy and he loves beating the hell out of people, but he doesn't have the same motivations as Batman. Batman doesn't have anything supernatural going on about him. There could be a whole lot of Mark Spector, the man that's caught in between the supernatural world and the real world. And even though you know what I mean? There could be a lot to do with that.
Well, he's appropriating a lot of Egyptian culture, and that's really where the problem lies.
And goes hardcore whiteface with it too. Jesus.
Yeah, he stole a bunch of things from Africa and then shrouded them in whiteness. So I gotta write for the Mary Sue. I could do this crap all day.
Yeah, I know, right?
Easy. You just
the Mary Sue won't pay you though. They don't pay anyone.
I don't think
they don't have any money. Go get woke, go broke.
Mm-hmm.
So let's drop that. What's going on? Is anybody paying attention to chat? Because I'm not. Moon Knight reminds me of Azrael from Batman. Yeah, I could see that.
That would have been a better comparison, Azrael versus.
Yeah, but if you're a hack writer that's just trying to vomit out a quick fucking story and be complainy about it, like, I mean, oh, Cracked is here. Hey, Cracked. Why aren't you? You should be wrenched. And now you're wrenched.
Woo.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to talk about was this.
We can't see what you're looking at.
I know. Complainy. Death Daredevil. the writer, Sewell, is on his way out. This is his last issue, 612. And I'm looking forward to it, not because I think he's a particularly terrible writer or anything like that. His writing's okay for Daredevil, but it's coming to an end, so I have hopes that they're going to put somebody like the shadow of Mark Waid weighs heavily on Daredevil because he had such a famously awful run, and the only people who think it's good are other pros that just don't want to say anything bad about Mark Waid.
Yeah.
Nobody who likes Daredevil liked it. I mean, we were talking in Discord before we came on, like Daredevil, really? Daredevil? This is Daredevil? This is Mark Waid's Daredevil.
Daredevil for the defense.
Yes, because he can be Daredevil now, wearing an all red suit, of course, because his secret identity is blown. He's moved to San Francisco. He's this. Why is his haircut so close? He should have a pompadour haircut, talking like that, and the sort of like Ponzi, completely affected way he walks and talks. It's just this is Daredevil, really?
Wait,
how would he style his hair in a pompadour when he can't see it?
Hold on. What am I looking at here? Is this from Mark Waid's run?
I think so. I could tell you this definitely is. This is the cover of volume 5 of the Waid Collected edition.
Oh my god.
Like,
I was unaware that this happened. This is news to me.
You didn't know he moved from Hell's Kitchen to San Francisco and stopped being a lawyer and the whole 9 yards?
No.
Daredevil, Hell's Kitchen.
Well, it's like, even if he like let's say he goes to, I don't know, Singapore on some excursion or whatever, he has to be like, it's like not having Spider-Man in Queens. What sense would it make? He lives in Queens, works on Manhattan Island at the Daily Bugle, and he doesn't have to work there forever and a day, but this is essentially who the character is. It's as much of a character as anything in the story. It's just who they are and what they do. Well,
it wouldn't bother me if he moved to another city and continued being Daredevil. It's the whole like stupid suit thing and the weird stance that he was in, and it just looks. It looks like every other thing that SJWs do. Since
his identity was blown.
That's so dumb. It's so lazy.
Yeah, this is what he started doing, and this is why I have like Sewell didn't do anything along those lines. He actually complains in that article that I was just showing there how it seems to be a thing for writers of Daredevil to do, is leave the next writer in a complete lurch, because at the end of Waid's run, when Sewell came in, Daredevil was living in San Francisco, was no longer a lawyer. His identity was blown, as like Matt Murdock was known as Daredevil, and he was a bum living in the street with no money. He'd become a beggar.
I could fix this. Issue 1, panel 1. He wakes up stretching his arms like, oh, what an awful dream.
It is
time to go on patrol.
Tenement building in Hell's Kitchen. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Just get right into it.
Oh fuck! I think Sewell did kind of work his way out of that quite well, and credits due to him. But I don't know why. But I've got high hopes for this. I don't even have my fingers crossed over it. I think it might go in an interesting direction, because like I said, that shadow of what Waid did weighs so heavily. It is so universally derided. It would be like somebody at Marvel suggesting, hey, why don't we revisit that whole Clone Saga thing with Spider-Man? Because
don't give them ideas.
Because people around them would be like, what are you, fucking stupid? Like, that is still talked about to the day as one of the worst runs we ever did. No, we can't revisit the Clone Saga in the same way. We can never do anything like Mark Waid did ever again.
Nah, they'll revisit it and they'll be like, oh, but this time we'll make Peter a woman. And he'll be in love with Mary Jane, and Mary Jane will fall in love with that version of Peter, and we have an instant love triangle.
Like, it's not just the cover. It's not just this picture. It's that they chose this for the cover of the collected edition. That's the best part, because it's like, what the ever-loving fuck is going on?
Who the fuck is that, by the way? Daredevil is playing second fiddle to his own fucking book.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You remember when the character was the star of the book? No, we had to decolonize it and make this brown lady the star.
Remember the cover of Captain America 700?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was thinking of.
Where's Captain America?
Hold on, where is it? I got it.
Call back to an
There
earlier
it is.
CBC.
There's Captain America 700.
He doesn't even get to hang out with the cool kids for the photo. Go stand on Lincoln's head, Cap. Jeez.
Right? It still makes me laugh. I remember the first time I threw this up for quiz, he went, wait a minute, why is Captain America like barely say he didn't even see him to begin with? It was great.
But look at the empowerment in the first row there.
And might I also bring your attention to something, people? See this right here? Mark Waid.
Yeah. Well,
are you sensing a pattern, ladies and
Conspiracy.
everything that fucking guy touches, man?
it's so sad. Like, what happened to him? Did he get dumped at like prom, even though he's like 50? I don't understand what happened.
I wouldn't be surprised if Mark Waid was still going to prom.
Well, I try, and they're like, you can't come around here anymore.
He's like, don't you know who I am? I'm Mark Waid.
Well, yeah. You know what? Peter, right. What is the thing leaning on? If you go watch there's a comic book curation episode that Quiz and I did called Captain America 700 Covers. It's worth watching. I think it's a pretty funny short that we did. And that was one of the questions that we came up with. Like, what is the thing leaning on? Like, just the art in general is mess. What was with the little bug-eyed kid? And who's the woman in the center? And it's like, you have to read the comic.
Why is there a dog in a fucking shirt?
Yeah.
Because you added a cutesy animal to make it like more friendly to a larger audience. It's like when they add Ted McGinley into any TV show.
What did you remember what the dog boy shirt said?
No.
Good boy.
That's dog code for asking me about my feminist agenda.
Right. So there's the Daredevil thing.
That made me sad.
What, Daredevil?
Learning about Mark Waid on there. Oh man.
But at least, dude, do you know how long the Mark Waid run on Daredevil lasted? That you didn't know about it. Like, just it's in the past. It's in the past, man. You know, go back and read the Frank Miller run and then jump up to the Sewell run. And hey, after 612, it's on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, I've got some of the Sewell run because somebody recommended it, but I was missing parts of the story, so I haven't got around to reading it yet.
Honestly, Daredevil is one of those characters that, Quiz, I hear you. It's like, he always hasn't been my thing. I don't have a particular problem with him. Yeah, I know what you mean. He's easy to kind of like just pass by, but definitely worth giving a shot to. He's actually a really interesting character when Mark Waid isn't writing him.
Yeah. Look, I've read most of Frank Miller's run back in the day. You know,
Legend.
Those were great. Even especially the one where he's in
and everything. Whew.
Yeah. The issue where he's in the sewer fighting all the bums. That was an awesome issue.
I keep hearing really good things about Frank Miller's run on Daredevil. But
that's before he started drinking.
Yeah.
So he stopped. So it's all fine.
Even the couple of the issues after Miller was gone, I forget who took over, but they did some really good work. It was a female writer, but I can't remember her name. And like fighting Typhoid Mary, and there's a sweet cover where Typhoid Mary is trying to drown him in the sewer.
Yeah.
Some of those issues were fun. They weren't, Frank Miller, but they were better than what you're describing Mark Waid's run.
Have you ever read any Daredevil Quiz at all?
No, not really.
Like
I said, I've been recommended the Frank Miller stuff.
Typhoid Mary was actually really good. You know who was doing that run and created the character of Typhoid Mary? Jack?
I don't remember.
Ann Nocenti.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I knew it was either her or Joe Duffy because I knew it was a female writer, and those were the two big ones that I would see their names and grab their books.
One of the things that's really common about Daredevil is this, like, it's got Miller's fingerprints all over it. The kind of direction he took Daredevil in, like, turns him into a ninja, number one, because it's a classic Miller thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, because he wants him like have a background. It's like, I trained myself with boxing gloves to be the world's greatest fighter, and it's like, huh? And like this is also in the 80s during the ninja boom when it was kind of cool to do stuff like that. And Miller thought it was great. So kind of writes Batman as trained in Japan and so forth, and they've used that idea continuously, and you get this death adversarial relationship between Daredevil and Kingpin, that they're true arch enemies of each other, and I got to take you down and so forth. It really works.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a strong dichotomy. You've got the bald fat guy and the soulless ginger.
That's what I always thought. So, and Shady, I think, is right about you, Quiz. You just hate Marvel because you're a bigot.
Well, hate Marvel as it is now? Yes, absolutely, I do. They've done nothing good for a very long time.
But speaking of you, Quiz, we should talk about the title of this week's episode.
Yes. For those not in the know, Norm Breyfogle died. For people who are, even more not in the know, Norm Breyfogle was very renowned for doing Batman stories. Here's a couple of the books that he worked on. He worked on Shadow of the Bat. He worked a lot with Alan Grant for the writer. Norm Breyfogle was the guy who did all of the interior art for these comics. He did Anarchy. He was one of the co-creators of Anarchy. He did the Batman Beyond Unlimited series, and he did the 3 issues of Flashpoint. Very, very influential DC artist. Rest in peace, Norm. You had a good run. I really enjoyed your stuff.
Yeah, he was only 58.
I was just about to say, and the sad thing is at 58, that's way too young, man. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently in December of 2014, he had a stroke, which had paralysis of all of his left side, and he was a left-handed artist.
Oh, that sucks.
So yeah, he was no longer able to draw professionally, and then he died. He died on September 24th. But yeah,
that's sad.
It is.
I thought it. I don't know. One of the things that I don't like about the whole anti-Comicsgate thing is the social club aspect that so many comic skaters complain about. That pros talk about themselves like they're an exclusive club and stuff like that, and we need to protect each other and stand by each other, and it's like, you guys are talking like that it's not a meritocracy, that it's not about talent, that it's just like people that are kind of like half-assed and don't do a very good job, but they're great because they diversify our group. They're part of our group, and you're not, even though you might be. I mean, Ethan Van Sciver, you vote this way and we don't like that, so therefore we're going to call you all these names and all of this stuff. And it's like, I don't know, when it kind of just makes me stop and think when one of these guys will pass away, and it's like, it is supposed to be a meritocracy. It's supposed to be like, you remember somebody because they were good at something, and you value someone because they wrote a lot of really memorable stuff, not because of the way they voted or who they like to fuck. Do you understand what I mean? Like it.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it.
I can't hear what you're saying through all the hate you're spewing. I'm going to disavow this so I can get a sweet job in comics. Making less than minimum wage.
I realize this is a tangent, but I was reading someone's Twitter a few days ago, which I shouldn't have been. I keep talking about Twitter's a sewer, and it so is. And they're saying, bravo for Marvel having all POCs write Black Panther. And I'm like, it was created by 2 Jewish guys in Manhattan, the character. What the fuck are you talking about? Like
hate fact.
That the Comicsgate or the anti-Comicsgate thing has gone this far into identitarianism that black people should be writing black characters. You know how fucking racist that sounds? Do you even listen to yourself when you talk?
Yeah. I was gonna say, is he any more or less a racial icon by the fact that it was created by 2 Jewish guys?
Right.
Well, I think it's more it's secretly kind of racist because you're like, oh no, we got to let one of them write it. That's how it kind of sounds.
Little infantilizing, little gift from the white people kind of thing.
Yeah, it's very Manifest Destiny. We got to lift them up. They can't do it on their own. You guys are bigots, man.
I like Peter's tweet or chat message. R.I.P. Norm. I don't know if you're a Christian, Jew, Buddhist, or Muslim, but I'll just put them all up there. I like it.
Yeah.
I was reading, ironically, Gail Simone's Twitter. I was just like leafing through it, and I came across somebody who,
why?
Somebody who tweets it. The umbrella guy and Gail Simone and this person. It's like, why is this person? You know, those people that just like Ren Famous spends most of their time just tweeting at certain people and about certain subjects, and that's how they get on. Well, there's this entire peripheral crew of people that just send tweets at that umbrella guy and at your boy Zach and so forth. I was just reading this. It's like both of these things had to do with Gail Simone that this one person sent. Like over 3 days, they're tweeting about the same subject, and it's to that umbrella guy. Well, at least you didn't call Gail Simone the C word. Well, you pimped out your movement. That's a nice change of direction for Comicsgate.
Well, Gail Simone is kind of a cunt.
Well, what kills me about that? Okay,
Well, I thought he meant cholesterol ridden.
yeah, with the Michelin Man body. I mean, for your own health, Gail. Jesus Christ. 3 days later, the same person. If I want, quote, in to Comicsgate, I already know the password. Call Gail Simone some nasty names and the money will start flowing. I won't be able to keep up with all the invites to live stream, and all it will take is 4 little letters. CUNT. Okay, listen, Gail Simone.
Oh, sweet. When's that gonna run in?
Right. It's like, Gail Simone, you're a cunt. There's no money coming to me.
I'm waiting on my invite, Ethan.
I'd love to. I would love to go shill comic book curation on Uncle Ethan's stream. You don't get in just by, like, he has people that draw comics, have worked in comics, that are actual like pros, or people that are trying to get in or doing their own indie thing. They're not nobodies out of nowhere just because they said some nasty shit about Gail Simone. Get a fucking clue.
Nobody cares about Gail Simone.
Well, that's another thing that I said. You know, you guys pointed out. I mean, yeah, she's got like 120,000 followers on Twitter, which is impressive until you scroll through and she barely, like, there's very little interaction. Like, are all these dead accounts? Did you purchase these followers? What the fuck's going on? Because there's just, she'll get like 20 likes on something, 5 retweets on something. And it's like, I don't know why people think, you know, your boy Zach saying that, you know, they bought her followers, not her writing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The one thing that I will say, to Gail Simone's credit, if you scroll through her Twitter, 90% of it is about Domino, what she writes currently, the character of Domino, right?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Domino's Pizza. Okay.
Oh, man.
Is there a difference? Avoid the Noid. Buy Domino today.
If she got rid of the obvious stabs that she takes at Comicsgate, like, oh, today in the Comicsgate world, and then post something that somebody tweeted out with the hashtag Comicsgate tag on it, that was stupid. She does this regularly, like, today in the world of Comicsgate, meh. Like,
yeah, she's not funny. That's her problem. Like, if you were witty, okay, I would at least respect that. But when you're not funny and you have like this weird mom humor, don't do that. It's not okay. Nobody likes that.
People talk about boomer moments. We need to talk more about boomer comedy. Like, and that's just like, it's not like, they're not even good dad jokes. They're just lame.
But I liked Bob Hope.
What?
Boomer.
He's not a boomer.
Well, wasn't he?
God, no. You have to be born after World War II to be a boomer.
I mean, I'm gonna look this up.
Like, he was going around doing USO shows for troops in World War II.
Oh yeah, you got a point. Okay.
That's a hate fact. Linear time means nothing.
All right, guys.
Bob Newhart. I like Bob Newhart.
I like Bob Newhart. What, was he born after World War II?
Yeah.
Was he really?
I think so.
He looks terrible.
He is kind of.
Oh no, I was born in 1929. Never mind. In Oak Park, Illinois, too. Not too far.
Let's go with Dane Cook.
Ugh.
See,
is Dane Cook a boomer?
I don't know. I just don't like him either.
I think
I'm just getting people I don't like.
Dane Cook is awful, but
I think we've lost the plot here, guys. Let's just
just now, really?
All right. Speaking of getting back to the plot, it's getting around that time. Definitely bottom of the hour. We just clicked over to 1 hour on the dot, so we got to do this el pronto. It's time to pitch comics. What do you got for us, Jack?
Oh, I went first last time.
You did, actually. I remember that. All right, Quiz, what do you got for us? You went last time. So.
All right.
Let me present you here, buddy. There you go.
I've got a 3-issue run in the middle of a ongoing series. It's written by Julie Benson and Shauna Benson. Art by Rogi Antonio. Colors by Marsilio Miolo. Letters by Josh Reed. Cover by Yannick Paquette and Nathan Fairbairn. And it is the 3-issue run of Batgirl and the Birds of Prey. Issue 15, okay. 16, and 17. It's called Manslaughter is the name of it. Essentially, the plot boils down to the fact that all of the men of Gotham City are getting sick with this horribly debilitating disease. Kind of like the flu. Well, and all of the women are left unaffected. So Batgirl and the Birds of Prey go and find all of the women of Gotham City and the DC universe as a whole, and try to figure out what's going on when, what was the name of it? The Daughters of Gotham come along and make their announcement. And it's for this spread that is the quintessential reason why everyone that's involved in Comicsgate and everyone that's opposing social justice should read this comic book series, in my opinion. Women of Gotham, for too long we have been under the oppressive patriarchy, which has made our city crime-ridden and weak. Men are the disease infecting Gotham City, and the Daughters of Gotham are the cure. We seek the end to end the tyranny of men. We've neutralized our enemy without a single shot fired. Soon we will do more than simply weaken them. Men only understand one language: violence. We have spoken in our language: peace. And with the men of Gotham incapacitated, women are free to walk the streets without fear, judgment, sexual harassment, murder, robbery, or other violence against them. Imagine if it were like this every day. Soon you won't have to imagine it. Soon we will rid ourselves of all men in Gotham. And together we can start over, raising good men in Gotham. There are good men in Gotham, and we're ready to fight for them.
They weren't expecting anyone to say.
Said yes. No feminist ever.
Yeah. Well, there's another bit in a previous panel here where Lois Lane, or no, sorry, I think it's in the next issue, where Lois Lane says, misandry isn't feminism. This will set us back decades.
Misandry isn't feminism.
First of all, I disagree, Lois, but you know, that's okay.
It's cute that you still believe that, Lois.
Okay.
So yes, I highly recommend that series. It's actually really good. It gets comic booky at the end of the second issue, and then gets really comic booky on the third issue, where they've got Patient Zero kidnaps Batwoman, Batgirl, and Harley Quinn. And then they outline their manifesto about how they're going to kill all the men in Gotham.
When did that run happen? Like how long ago?
That was 2016.
Okay. All right. Now, you've actually pitched that to me before. Told me about it before. And I never got around to it, although I have copies. Yeah, I gotta get my ass on to reading that. I'm still reading He-Man from last week. I read issue number 1, and yeah, it was cool.
The Injustice.
You liked it?
Yeah.
The Injustice He-Man one?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I only got around to reading number 1 because I started reading Frank Miller's run on Daredevil. That's what made me want to that's what caught my eye about the the story about Sewell's run coming to an end in Daredevil 612. So I was like, huh, maybe this is all some not continuity, some synchronicity coming together that it's time to get re-excited about Daredevil. Which is why this week I will be pitching Mark Waid's Daredevil Volume 5.
I'm getting roll recommendations, Polly.
Come on, look at the proud, empowered, independent woman who don't need no man. Like that's
no. Is she holding a gavel or his balls?
Right? And you don't like the beta Daredevil down at the bottom? Come on. Actually, this week I will be pitching Batman Shadow #1.
Yes.
This is a 6-issue series. It came out at Dynamite. I have always wondered what the hell they needed to pay for the Batman licensing fees to do this. It ran in 2017, so it's pretty recent. Wow, I have never seen so many variants for one cover.
Yeah.
It just goes on and on. You got that one's classic. I love that.
That's cool.
What a sweet throwback, right? It's that looks right out of the Batman comic strip kind of thing, you know, and uncolored and then so forth, watercolors. The list goes on and
Batman.
on. Now that's just one, and then the other one. There's David Finch's, by the way, and nice. He's not crouching, so screw you, CBR writer.
Shadow might be crouching.
He might be. Yeah, it's possible. You could draw Batman without the classic underwear on the outside of the pants. He still looks cool.
That's how the Shadow goes to the toilet. He's just pooping right now. He's holding guns, looking all pissed off.
And it just like these are still variant covers, guys.
Yeah, for issue #1. Yeah, there's a million of them.
I like that one. That's cool.
I like that one because he is the Shadow and he's Batman's shadow in that scene. That's great. It's just his scarf that isn't two-dimensional. I love that. It's a classic watercolor. Like, I mean, these are still variant covers for the same issue. This is the only one I don't like because it's like, did you draw this on like legal foolscap with a pen?
Yeah, that looks like something a high schooler did in art class.
I don't know. I think the composition is actually fairly good. The
composition is good. Yes, I don't understand what they were going for in terms of style, though. I don't.
It looks like a typical Dynamite cover, but it also like Marvel's looking at that right now, going, "Ooh, can we hire that guy?"
Yeah. Well, see, the perspective is on point. The hatching is really, really good. I would say that the only thing that's kind of missing is the fact that you can see that they were trying to do color, but I think color was an afterthought because there's a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit of red on the Shadow's scarf, and then of course there's the glaring yellow of Batman's belt. And then there's a tiny bit of like cream color from the light source in the back in the doorway. All of that does not lend to a very good sense of composition overall. But I don't know. I like the ink line work. It's actually really good.
Well, yeah. So, and it still keeps going. And I think that these are all like different artists, right? And I think the whole goal is like, wait a minute, I get to draw Batman and the Shadow on the same cover at the same time. So people just started lining up to be able to have a chance to do it. So, I mean, look, it still keeps going. So this story actually, like, I was showing all of the covers here. You get the idea. It is Orlando, the writer, Steve Orlando, takes it better than I thought he was going to. Like, takes the story in a better direction than I thought he was going to. I thought it was just going to be Batman and the Shadow going head to head. You know what I mean? That it was, and it's not. It's a mystery story at its heart. Off there. And a really well wrought, well thought out mystery. It starts off with here. I'll show you the Professor Pig. He plays a big part in this storyline. What I love about it, if we go over to this one here, begins here in the French Alps, and I love this. He's like, I have you taught me swordsmanship. You taught me how to manhunt Henry Descartes, and I now have a mystery that I can't solve. You taught me to be able to hunt down anyone. I'm looking for Lamont Cranston, which is the Shadow's real name.
No, it's not. Kent Allard. His name is Kent Allard.
Well, in any case, Lamont is who he's looking for, and who Bruce Wayne is looking for. And he goes to, excuse me, guys. He hunts down the world's greatest manhunter here, Henry Descartes, to help him. And it is that wooden sword that brings him along, because he found a sword identical to it in the Batcave archives that was hinted at by different clues that Bruce Wayne detected. The story is ultimately a mystery story. How is it that the Shadow, who was supposedly operating in the 30s and 40s, 1930s and 40s, seems to still be around today, but he hasn't aged? And Bruce Wayne even encounters in the first issue Margot Lane, and she is an old woman. And she drops this kind of strange hint. His hate kept him young. And she doesn't really say anything more than that. And it's like Batman has broken into her house, and he's standing there in his Batman suit. And she's like, and he says, Miss Lane, you don't even seem remotely afraid of me. And she just kind of like looks at him while she's smoking a cigarette and says, I've seen far worse than you.
She's breathing out of like the neck hole.
I love that it is written as a mystery story. The entire first issue is just setting it up. Somehow the Silent Seven are involved. They're orchestrating this. They're behind it. They're pushing this mystery to happen in front of Bruce, and he recognizes that he's being led along. I'm trying my best not to deliver spoilers here, but I will ruin it. Yeah, I will, however, spoil one thing, because it does only happen in issue 1, and issue 1 is all about setup, and I do want to whet you guys' palate. He does seek out Mr. Descartes here, the world's greatest manhunter, who taught Bruce Wayne not only swordsmanship, but the skills of detection in hunting someone down. Bruce goes and finds this guy at the top of the French Alps on page 1, explained to him, like, there's one guy that I can't find, and there's one mystery that I can't unravel, and that's the mystery of how Lamont Cranston is supposedly dead, but the Shadow is returned, but Lamont Cranston has been killed by the Shadow. Wait a minute, what's going on? In a great ending, here he is talking to Descartes, and he says, you were desperate to make a sword like the one that I taught you to make. But you're always cutting against the grain, Bruce, working against yourself. You never stopped working against the grain. Bruce, you think Cranston was my student? You seek the Shadow? Don't worry, as he turns into it. He's closer than you think. And it's like, wait a minute. What's going on here? Is Descartes, was he always the Shadow when Bruce knew him years ago, when he was training him to hunt down men in the skills of criminal detection and the skills of swordsmanship? Was it the Shadow training him the whole time in another guise? Or is the Shadow killed Descartes and taken his place? Or is Descartes still alive and the Shadow is just pretending to be him? Who knows? Like,
the Shadow knows.
Yeah, it's a great mystery that starts off. It's got a lot to do with Professor Pig, this unnamed Silent Seven. Who the hell are they? What are they doing? What are they up to? Perhaps the Shadow has known Bruce Wayne for years and years and years. And of course, Batman as a character is highly influenced by the Shadow. Like the way he does the secret identity, the way he looks, the kind of vigilantism that he does. And so to kind of write them in universe together, that maybe they've actually always known each other, but Bruce just wasn't aware of it. It's a great 6-issue story. I highly recommend it. It's not just putting Batman and the Shadow fighting each other, like beating the shit out of each other. It's actually a really well-written mystery. Totally worth your time.
A lot of the times they have those sorts of crossovers. Rarely do they actually have Batman, beating up whoever he's crossovering with.
Rarely, yes, but I do remember Batman Spawn.
Yeah,
they certainly beat the shit out of both of each other in that issue.
Well, written by Frank Miller, the one written by Chuck Dixon, they don't.
If we could go through one stream without you trying to disparage Mr. Miller, just one, just do it for a novelty.
I liked the Dark Knight Returns. I like 300. That's about where it ends.
Shady's like, I want it. Yeah, seriously, man, you will not be disappointed. It is a really good read. And the art, as you saw, it's very. I read one review of it where he called it much more of a European style. Yeah, it's not. It's very light edges, very light lining. It's not great shadow work, but I wouldn't call it like the what?
Shadow.
It's not great shadow work.
Oh Jesus, Jack, fine. What's your pitch for the week?
I'm actually pitching one I picked up today. It's issue 1 of a 5-part miniseries, and that would, of course, be Star Trek versus Transformers.
All right.
Because look at this beautiful art. It's got the 60s cartoon version of Star Trek with the 80s Transformers.
Actually,
and
that was in the 1970s at the end.
Whatever. I don't care about Star Trek. Look, there's a cat lady.
But yet somehow I have surreptitiously maneuvered you into pitching a Trek comic. I love it.
Yeah,
this was so much fun.
You don't know this about Polly, Jack, but Polly's a really huge Trekkie.
Oh, I know. I've heard him and Hammer talking.
Okay.
And then I immediately went and did something else.
Man. Shit. You guys
Trek.
Frank Miller sucks. Star Trek's gay. You guys are just both of you, man. Jesus.
I didn't say Star Trek was gay. Well, maybe Voyager, but the original Star Trek, I like that the best. I think it's awesome.
That is my favorite series. TOS is my favorite series. So
yeah, and look, we got the Enterprise. Look, there's some sort of alien dude right down here. I don't know what his deal is. But
he's canon as the helmsman in the animated series.
Whatever.
He's got 3 arms. What's with furry bait there?
She is also canon. You guys got to watch it. You don't know your Trek canon. It's just terrible.
Yeah, sure. And then
she's a lot like Snarf, where everything she says is like, Snarf.
Yeah, it's like,
Snarf. I like this Snarf. she meows at the beginning and end of every sentence. It's really kind of
funny.
Yeah, she purrs a lot. It's actually kind of funny. Because this is so much like the old cartoons. It is unbelievable. But yeah, I had a great time reading this. I thought it was a blast.
I'm not gonna lie, I really dig that they went with the animated series look for the characters. That's really kind of cool.
I only learned about this one like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh man, it's gonna be terrible. No, it was shockingly fun. And you just don't see a lot of fun books anymore.
How long is the run?
It's like 5 or 6 issues.
And just the first one, because I didn't know about this. So the first one just came out a couple weeks ago?
First issue came out today.
Really? Okay. I'm gonna grab that. What the hell? I need a fun read.
Yeah, I had a great time. My review is going to be posted tomorrow for it. I think I already tweeted out the link. But, oh my God, it was so awesome. It was such cheese fun.
Is that Marvel?
No, it's IDW.
It's IDW.
Yeah, they still own the Hasbro license, so that gave them the Star Trek animated series, not the original series, but the animated series. They get the rights to.
That is hilarious. I love that detail, right? Because it's like one of the reasons you can't make Star Trek like Star Trek anymore is because of how divided the intellectual property is. The joke I make is it's a pie that's been cut into 100 pieces, and 5 lawyers over here own this, and another company over there owns that, and 40% of it is Paramount PBS, but Paramount on its own owns another 20%. And part of it is just like one of the IP items for Star Trek, just as an example, is the fabric texture of the Starfleet uniforms.
Yep. I heard that.
It's that level of detail that it's been sold off in bits and pieces, so that somebody could purchase the rights to the animated characters alone is not surprising, but cool that IDW did that. Why not? Good for you.
Well, it's part of their Hasbro deal. They've also got Next Generation, which is really weird because they're doing a mini series with the Mirror Universe right now, which is supposed to be pretty good. But I got too many books to read now. I'm like a month behind on half my books.
There is a great animated Return to the Mirror Universe comic that is not based in. Space is the direct sequel to the episode Mirror Mirror, and it's really worth reading. It's like, what does Spock do after Kirk leaves him with the Tantalus field, the ability to destroy his enemies unseen? Like, it's Kirk's effect on that mirror universe after they leave. It's really worth reading. It's well written. There was something that I wanted to talk about, and I can't remember what it was. So our pitches were Birds of Prey.
Yep.
Batgirl. Batman Spawn and Transformers Star Trek. Nice. I like it.
Batman Shadow.
Batman Shadow. What did I say?
Spawn.
Okay. Because I just remembered when I was in the middle of that what it was I wanted to talk about. Jim Healis at New York Comic Con.
Yes, Jim Healis is going to be at New York Comic Con. He said he's going to be printing out some Blue Mamba stuff. He said in a tweet here, quick update, the files are at the printer and they're starting on production this week. Art for the trading cards is almost finished, getting ready for the New York Comic Con, and may have something exclusive for that. Remember, you can still get your t-shirts over at Blue Mamba Merchandise. So yeah, anyone in the New York area, I always bleed on about conventions. Now is your time to support a good friend of the show, Jim Healis. He will have his comic there, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm going to put that. I'm going to put those links in the description afterwards. I will update that right away. So if you could put that in the side chat for me, Quiz, that'd be awesome. Sure. I'll add them right away.
His tweet?
His tweet, and yeah, from that I'll pull up his
merch.
Yeah, his merch stuff. Thank you. Peter, Batman and Spawn would be cool. Batman and Spawn was a thing.
Yes, there's two different series, one written by Frank Miller and one written by Chuck Dixon.
Yeah, and the Frank Miller one is drawn by Tom McFarlane.
Mm-hmm. And the Chuck Dixon one, hang on, I've got it right over here somewhere. Fuck.
Yeah, I've got that off of my shadow folder. I forget who did the art on that. Frankly, the one between Miller and McFarlane is not that good. You're more looking at it.
It's an art book.
The plots are by Miller, but if you've ever read anything that McFarlane's written, like Spawn or when he did his solo Spider-Man series, remember that, Jack? The series that was just called Spider-Man, and it was a series of never-ending arcs, 4-part, 7-part, 3-part. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
That's what happens when you get an artist to be a writer, because there's no question Tom McFarlane is an extremely imaginative, creative guy. He is. So he can imagine plots, but in terms of writing them, there would be like one word bubble a page, because he's such a dogged artist that he spends so much time drawing everything that it's, he goes and fights the lizards in the sewer, the lizard in the sewers. And it's just a series of pinup pages of great looking art. Don't get me wrong, but what's the story? Well, the story is he's fighting the lizard. How? Why? What's going on? Well, he's fighting him, you see. Like,
well, he likes to draw really big, elaborate splash pages. That's one thing that McFarlane's well known for. But the one that I'm referring to is right there. It's War Devil, Batman Spawn, written by Chuck Dixon, Alan Grant, and Doug Monch.
That's twice in one episode that guy's name came up. That's so weird.
He's awesome.
That's it, because I just hadn't heard that name in so long when you brought up Moon Knight, and then here it comes up a second time. Talk about synchronicity. Holy shit.
His work when Dixon left, I think it was Detective Comics, and Doug Monch and Kelly, I can't remember his first name. They took over. They had some great stories. It was a very surreal art style of Kelly's, and Doug Monch had all these bizarre stories. Like he teamed up with the Demon and did a story arc there. It was really cool. But Yeah.
Yeah, if you're talking about Batman crossovers, Batman I think has had more weird crossovers than anyone else in comic history. But here's another one of my favorites: is Batman and the Punisher.
Yeah.
Another one written by Chuck Dixon.
Of course. Dixon did all Batman in the 90s.
I have heard of that, but I have never read it. I would like to see what would happen and be like, yes, you could be a vigilante and beat people to within an inch of their lives, permanently hospitalize them, but you can't kill them, Frank Castle. You can't kill them.
Well, that's the thing, is that Frank Castle actually does want to kill, who is it? Jigsaw? Yeah, I think that's who he was hunting in this. But yeah, the Joker gets in the way, and then like as Jigsaw and the Joker are escaping, Batman and the Punisher swap enemies. So then Frank Castle's going after the Joker.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Dixon, you're cool.
He scares the shit out of the Joker too. It's great. He puts a gun against the Joker's head and says, "He's like," the Joker's like, "You're really gonna do it?"
Now, see, you talk about weird crossovers, but I don't know, man. Batman having weird crossovers, like what? Like aliens?
Dude, hold on. I didn't grab these because these are actually in sleeves. But
I don't know, man. I don't think he's
Batman
ever had a weird. Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
that's one better, and it's topical. It's
And it's a Dark Horse DC crossover.
How about Batman Predator?
That was actually a really good one. The Batman
Yes.
aliens, not so much.
Yeah, the Batman Aliens ones were the Batman Predator Aliens one were actually really good.
Holy fuck! I've never heard of any of these. What the hell? That's
Yeah,
And
they
then
did
there's a sequel.
I want
there's three. There's
Oh, really? There's a
Batman
different
versus
one.
Predator 1, 2, and 3.
So
I
I
didn't
need. So
know they
you
were
guys
that
got
good.
in some extra pitches this week. Batman Predator. Well, pitched for me. You guys already know them, but like Batman Predator, Batman Aliens, and Batman Punisher. I got to go get all those. That's cool.
Mhm. And I'll say there's also another Batman Punisher one, but it's where Azrael was Batman.
Oh,
Yeah, that doesn't count.
nice.
It's not as good. Still written by Dennis O'Neil, though, who's a great writer.
Yeah.
And I say Dennis O'Neil actually wrote one of my favorite prestige format Batman stories, which was.
Johnny Hellcat says Judge Dredd versus Predator versus Alien is a thing. Is he lying?
No, he's not.
No,
Oh
that's
my
a real
God.
thing.
I have that one in digital. But yeah, The Poison Tomorrow. It's one of my favorites. It's Batman and the Green Arrow.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I didn't know that one either. God damn it.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to start typing up a list.
Did you like miss the 90s?
I was, well, leave me alone. But I want Dread Predator Alien. That's okay.
Yeah, it's
That's-
really weird. Like the story
That's
revolves around going out into outside mega city where mutants have like kidnapped aliens and started like trying to hybrid with them. It's really fucked up.
Yeah, Shady's got a point. Save some for another week, you fools.
What about Superman versus landmines? This was actually given out by UNICEF to teach kids to not pick up landmines
What? Like in
real life. Like,
In Europe,
yeah,
probably.
like
like, well, I mean, there's not.
it was in like I think the Czech Republic, and they gave them out in Africa and several other places. One of my buddies did relief work, and he got me a big stack of them, and I sold them for like $90 each.
Wow.
Yep.
They were really rare at the time.
It's like when
But-
when I bought a person's run of Amazing Spider-Man, that it was like 20 or 22 issues that were spread out, but I didn't have like 3/4 of them, like just to sort of fill in back issues, you know what I mean? And they were all reasonable quality. The spines weren't all fucked up and shit, all floppies, right? And I was like, he's like, well, I'm not going to sell off just the ones you need. Like, do you want to buy like all 20 of them for like one price? I was like, yeah, I can't remember what I paid him for it, but it was a good deal. It worked out like $1.50 an issue, right? And these were all in the
Nice.
these were all in like the 200s range, in the low 200s range. And in there was a giveaway from a comic book convention drawn by Todd McFarlane. And it was about them hiding. Somebody was dealing drugs that was hiding them inside of hockey pucks.
That's
It was, I'm trying to remember what it was called. Like it was like a super short thing, like only like 14 pages long. That was a giveaway at a comic book convention from some point. And I got to go look that up. It's hilarious as hell because it's got that really serious, dark styled Todd McFarlane art. But the entire plot of the story is that junior league hockey players are smuggling heroin and shit, and they're hiding their drugs inside of hockey pucks. And it's like, okay. And it was a no drug message, like just say no to drugs. That was the whole point of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a lot of that stuff. The giveaways, like they did a no smoking one with Luke Cage, Spider-Man, and Storm, and they were fighting this guy Smoke. It was really stupid. But my favorite one from when I was a kid was Superman meets the Quick Bunny.
Fuck yeah!
That are there Hostess fruit pies involved?
No, but it was a regular size comic. It was 32 pages, and it was an actual comic book, and you had to send away for it. Very hard to find, not worth anything, but fun nonetheless.
Yep.
Okay. And the Quick Bunny of all things.
Yeah.
It reminds me, if you guys want a cheap laugh, look up Superman peanut butter commercials on YouTube.
Oh god,
people have posted them, and it's like Lex Luthor kidnapping Superman to learn the secret of the dark roasty flavor to Superman brand peanut butter.
You gotta have something along with those cakes. So
that's right. Because without it, that'd be terrible.
It is terrible.
Peter says, is there a Superman versus the Accuser yet? If not, it'll happen soon. Superman groped my boob when he caught me after falling off a building. There's no footage. Just listen and believe.
Hashtag me too.
Oh, shit. That's funny. All right. That ends it up for this week. Thank you guys for joining me as always. My final thoughts, as always, patronize your local comic book shop. If you don't want to buy the new stuff because it's over expensive at $5 an issue and full of social justice garbage, don't buy collected issues of older stuff or some of the cool newer stuff that we recommend. Hopefully we've pitched some stuff that you'll enjoy. A lot of it's available as collected editions and absolutely for used prices at your local comic book shop. You can patronize without being patronized. Quiz.
As always, check out local comic book conventions, especially New York Comic Con if you're in the area. See Jim Healis, good friend of the show. Buy Blue Mamba.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, as soon as we get off here, I'm going to put the information in the subtext beneath the video so you guys can find it there, or just check out Jim Healis's Twitter, full of great stuff. Jack.
Give us all a subscription if you would, please. Give us likes and shares. And I just posted the new review for today up. It was G.I. Joe Real American Hero Silent Option Issue 1. And spoiler alert, it wasn't that great. But it was okay. But go check out my channel, links to my Patreon and Teespring, and give me your money.
Give him your money.
Yeah.
Yes, there is our final thought for the week. Give Jack your money. And somebody was suggesting that I put up a Streamlabs, you know. It's like, yeah, people want to send you super chats through Streamlabs. And I'm like, no, they won't. What do you no, they won't.
I'm not opposed to the idea. I'll set it up for him.
I was actually asking Magic Monkey, how do I do it without doxing myself? And he's like, well, here's how. And he writes me an entire paragraph about it. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, let me cut and paste that out of DMs here. And yeah. All right, guys. We really have got to do that all audio comic book curation live episode we were talking about. I was thinking about that again. I got some stuff to pitch, but I'm going to have to remind you guys. So look forward to that, guys. In the meantime, take care.
Bye.
Have a good one, guys.